Welcome, 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 family, to another spiritual awakening with yours truly, Dr. A.G. Green Sr. So glad to see everybody connecting. Good to see you, my Chrissa, a resident therapist, Pastor Jerry Cotton. You know what to do. Tag, share, and text. Text, share, and tag. Let some people know who might want to vibe with our tribe that we are live. We're live, as somebody would say, and in living color. Thank you so much for being on. So glad to see you today. Let's see how I can get that screen here. What an honor and a privilege it is to be with you yet again. That you tag and share, that you text. Oh yes, it's beautiful, it's awesome, it's wonderful, it's magnificent. And I am so thankful and so grateful. Here we go. Stop. Thank y'all for being on. Let's see who else is on. Hillary is on. Powerful niece. Monica is on. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you so much. Oh, yes, that time again. Almighty, we're just thankful and grateful for this opportunity that has been made available to us. We seize the moment, all that is contained within this moment for us. From here to infinity, we possess, we embody, we own, and we are. I am. Thank you so much for your goodness, your mercy, your grace, your infinite graciousness, your infinite kindness. Thank you for working in us, with us, and through us. And we bless you and we praise you as we remember the name, the nurture, the power, the consciousness of Yeshua the Christ. His consciousness, his way, his power. It is so. And so it is. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Spiritual awakening, it's here, family. I've got my I am powerful mug that you can conveniently order at the divinespeciesshop.com. And don't forget to visit theaggreen.com and follow me on the various social media presence or sites that are available, and continue to tag, share, text, like, and share many hearts. Although if you're on Facebook, you can't really do hearts. But nevertheless, we are here. I always like to remind you, encourage you, and affirm you. Now to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. You are a powerful, dynamic, spiritual species. I want you to type in the comment section and speak out loud, I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section and speak it to yourself. I am powerful. Matter of fact, if you want to put your name at the beginning of the sentence, Anthony is powerful. You can do that as well. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Unapologetically anointed, unapologetically graced and laced with power. That's who, that's what I am as divine offspring. I am powerful. Yes, yes, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. For the liberating thing it is to be able to know you're powerful and then own and embrace the power. What a wonderful, 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 wonderful thing it is. What's good, family? What's good? What's good? Talk to me. Let me check in with you to see how's your week been going thus far. Talk back to me real quick. How has your week been going thus far? What's good? Tell me a little bit about your week. Mine has been interesting. Did the eulogy of a beautiful 29-year-old young lady who dearly loved God, whom I've known most of her life, in front of a large crowd a few days ago in St. Louis. Still processing that. Got another eulogy to do on Saturday. And I have a colonoscopy on Friday, as well as work to do. That's pretty much how my week has been going thus far. I am thankful. I am thankful. Tell me real quickly, what's good? How's your week been going thus far? Tell me how your week has been going thus far. Just want to see how you're doing. Talk to a brother. Talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Let's see here. Resident therapist says week has been interesting with ebbs and flows and peaceful and powerful. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Hilary says it's been an amazing, productive week. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share how your week has been going thus far? No judgment here. Whatever you say is what you say. And this is the no judgment zone. You are vibing with your tribe. And your tribe supports you no matter what your interpretation of your world is. We just want to check in and see how you are doing. I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful to have you as a part of my life. Let's see, week has been okay, no complaints. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Let's see. She said, my week has been great. Honestly, can't report anything but good things. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing how your week has been going thus far. I'm so appreciative that you would share with your spiritual community. And real quickly, before I get into the teaching tonight, I want to check in on your thoughts. How are your thoughts? How are your thoughts? Thought check. Metacognition check. Metacognition check. How are your thoughts? Tell me how your thoughts. Let's see here. Let's rate your thoughts on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. How would you rate your thoughts this week? How would you rate your thoughts this week? Real quickly, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Yes, yes, from our thinking and imagination, we co-create reality. How are your thoughts? How are your thoughts? Okay, I got an 11, so that's off the charts. That's an 11 on a scale of 10. So we can definitely codify and translate that. That's wonderful. Let's see. We got a 9 out of 10. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? How are your thoughts? How are your thoughts? Want to check in, thought check, see how your thoughts are. Your rating is your rating. 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. All right. He says, I've been staying steady, 8 to 10 consistent. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing how your thoughts have been on this week. Now I'm going to do a summary of some teaching I've been on for, I guess, a month or longer now, midweek on Wednesdays. And I'm going to do some summary teaching. Monica says 10 out of 10. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And our resident therapist knows the number of installments, the number in this series, and he will type it in the comment section and I will put it up on the screen. Okay. We want to revisit some things we started having a conversation with you about recently, and as it relates to being a conscious creator. I'm going to go over some things again and probably have a few exercises. We will have a few exercises that will be a part of this teaching tonight. So this is part 8 of being a conscious creator, part 8 of being a conscious creator. And let's see here. Let's do Hebrews 11 and 1 again real quickly. Let's do Mark 9 and 23 real quickly. Let's do Proverbs 23 and 7 to my assistants real quickly. And Mark 11 and 24. So that's Hebrews 11 and 1. Hebrews 11 and 1, Mark 9, 23. Proverbs 23, 7, Mark 11, 24. And again, I've quoted from the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, which are Hindu scriptures, to show the symmetry and continuity as it relates to thinking, determining being, and thinking, determining reality, even quoted from Buddhist texts, the Quran and Hadith, even some Hermetic texts, the Corpus Hermeticum and Emerald Tablet. We also quoted from Taoist texts, Tao Te Ching, again saying similar things that the biblical text says about reality and the creation of reality. So I won't put those up on the screen today. Let's see, that'll work for, he is the kind of person who's always thinking about the cost, eat and drink, he says, but his heart is not with you. That's the NIV interpretation. We'll see the King James here in just a minute. The King James here in just a minute. I'll wait for her to put that up before I go to Hebrews 11. I'll wait for Krista to put up the King James version of Proverbs 23 and 7. Okay. This text translates it differently. He is the kind of person who's always thinking about the cost. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. Basically, what's in his heart. What's in his heart is sheltered. What's in his heart is disingenuous. And according to the NIV, but when you read it from the King James Version, it's a little different. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. That gives us more of a statement that's in line with whatever is in the heart is the state of mind that we possess. Ultimately, it says, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. So in alignment with the NIV, there are things in his heart that determines who and what he is that has not been verbalized or vocalized. But at the same time, he's eating with you, but his heart is saying something else. That determines his state of being in the state of consciousness. All right. Let's see here. Now we'll look at Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance, the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We'll look at it in the King James Version. Now faith is confidence, this is NIV, is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. We've exegeted this text on numerous occasions. The others will come up. I believe that's Mark 9 and 23, and then Mark 11, 24. Mark 9, 23, 11, 24. Talking about conscious creation. And again, when you get on these subjects, people from more traditional backgrounds, in my opinion, convolute our divinity and our abilities by attaching conditions to it. But when you are born into the world as a spiritual being, you automatically have inherent authority over your life as a spiritual being, and inherent authority over the physical 3-dimensional world. Most people think you have to have a religious experience to be powerful. It is not true. You come here as a powerful, dynamic spiritual being. Yeshua taught us that the kingdom is within us. That's where the kingdom is. That's where the power is. So we are sharing these series of teachings to empower you along the way. Let's see here, Mark 9:23. This is NIV. If you can, said Yeshua, everything is possible for one who believes. King James, Yeshua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Remember, so see the correlation between belief or believing, which again is a function of thinking. It's a function of what we see in the imagination, also a function of what we feel, or it is something that we think, imagine, and feel. It is contained within that part of us that produces, thoughts and images. And from these thoughts and images, again, within the framework of these thoughts and images are beliefs and core beliefs. If we believe, all things are possible. It is literally saying faith is the thing. What you believe is the thing that creates reality. Mark 11:24, therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them and ye shall have them. NIV, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that ye have received it and it will be yours. This is Yeshua not attaching strings to it, but helping you to understand that these spiritual laws, that if you exercise these spiritual laws in your prayer, and we'll talk very briefly about prayer in just a few minutes. Remember, you're praying from within. As a spirit being, you're praying from within. Your thoughts are contain what you're going to pray. In your imagination, you can see what you're praying. It may be uttered from the mouth, or if you choose not to vocalize it, it will circulate within the mind. But yet it comes from within. This is a part of the mechanism or the mechanics of prayer. So I want to continue this discussion with you, and I'm going to again do a brief recap and maybe add a few more things to it. Okay. I just want to remind you of what the great mystic, one of the greatest mystics, in my opinion, of all time, Neville Goddard said, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. We'll put it up on the screen for us so we can see it. Whatever it is you assume, family, even if there is no physical evidence for it now, if you persist in that, it will become a fact. I'm going to say it again. If you persist in that, it will become a fact. And that assumption is not just based on, wonderful, good, loving things. That assumption could be something that is not good, something that is dangerous, something that is unproductive, something that could not be beneficial for your existence. If you persist in that state, persisted in believing in those thoughts, your thoughts contain things, good or bad, and you persist in it, it will harden into fact. It will harden into fact. In other words, it will become something that is three-dimensional and physical. Assumption is the art of inwardly inhabiting the end result before physical evidence appears. So when we are assuming something, we are living in the end state before there is any physical evidence. I'll say it again. Before, remember the text, faith has evidence. It is the evidence of the unseen. It is, assumption is the spiritual technology of creation, the spiritual technology of creation, a shift in consciousness that changes the field of possibility. So I remind you that when you're utilizing faith, and faith is assumption, faith assumes and faith embodies the end state where it is already done and fulfilled. When you start this process, there will be no physical evidence. When you start taking those steps in faith, you won't see any physical evidence immediately. And let me paraphrase that. There will not be any physical evidence in front of you, I should say most of the time, because there are times that we can believe something and within seconds it materializes. But I'm just saying, typically people's experience is, for example, if they're believing for a vehicle, a new vehicle, they don't typically get the vehicle in the next 5 seconds or the next 15 seconds or the next 5 minutes or the next 15 minutes. Again, that's not to say people haven't, but on average, that's not the case. So when you start assuming something like Neville said, it appears that it's false to the senses. It's real to your inner man, your inner self, but it is false, appears to be something that's false to the senses. I got to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. What would you be thinking, feeling, and doing if your desire were already realized? And let me put this question up on the screen so you can reflect on it. And I want your answers real quickly. I want your answers. It's going to probably take me a couple more weeks to get through the epilogue of this teaching anyway. Let me put that up on the screen. What would you be thinking, feeling, and doing if your desire were already realized? That's the question I have for you. And this is what I want you to do after I want to see some answers come up real quickly. I want to see some answers come up, and then we're going to have an exercise real quickly. We're going to go through an exercise. What would you be thinking, feeling, and doing if your desire were already realized? So maybe your desire is for a home. Maybe your desire is for a promotion. Maybe your desire is for new transportation. Maybe your desire is for romance. Maybe it's for marriage. Maybe it's for articles of clothing. Maybe it's to travel or take trips. What would you be thinking, feeling, and doing? Okay. If that desire were already realized. All right. Don't keep me waiting too long. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. Let's see. Let me see your answers. And you don't have to go into any vivid detail, especially if it's something that's explicit. I want to see. Okay. Monica says, I would be feeling peaceful, happy, and loved, living in my dream home, planning trips with my adoring husband. Wonderful, Monica. Let's see. Hillary says, I've been being intentional about this. Therefore, I'd be thinking and feeling how I am now, full of gratitude, peaceful, etc. Anybody else want to share? We're going to do an exercise real quickly. We're going to do an exercise real quickly, but I want to hear maybe one or two more. See, maybe one or two more comments on this. One or two more comments on this. Let's see. Let's see. What can be will be. Therefore, I am the man of God now. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So this is what I want us to do. This is what I want us to do, family. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take a slow, deep breath in. And while you're taking that slow, deep breath in, imagine what you just typed, that it's already fulfilled. This is your already fulfilled self. It's already fulfilled. It's you in the fulfillment of the desire. So breathe in, hold it for a few seconds, and imagine. Okay. Okay. Who participated? Who participated? Who did this brief exercise real quickly? Who did it? Who did it? Who did the exercise real quickly? Okay, we got one. Anybody else? And let me tell you what just happened. Let me tell you what just happened. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me tell you what just happened. What just happened was, family, that this began the creative process. This is a part of the creative process. What you just did, and remember, for months now, I've been showing you from scripture, all kinds of scripture to successful people, and then I've taken you to science, psychology, metaphysics, all of these wonderful genres, and showed you how they're in continuity in demonstrating that the spiritual principle of everything coming from within us to what happens internally manifests outwardly or externally. We just read texts that talked about prayer. That's an internal thing. Okay. Uh if you can believe, you will receive what things soever you desire in prayer. Believe that ye receive them and ye shall have them. All things are possible to him that believeth. This starts internally. So the very exercise that you just participated in is the initial stage of the creation process. You can see it and you can feel it within. This is how inventions are created. This is how the devices you're watching, utilizing to watch me. This is how these inventors, many of them created these things. The buildings that we see in our world, other wondrous, or I should say technological wonders, came out of here, somebody's imagination. You just initiated a creation process, the creative process. And if you do that consistently, even for a few minutes every day, with no attachment to it, no obsession with it, no desperation, you're going to see the thing that the place you were and the thing you were doing or whatever it is you accomplish or the desire itself manifests. Let me put this up on the screen so you can see this principle. And we're going to be doing some more extended exercises like this inside of our Patreon community. Assumption is a state of being. It's a psychological, emotional, and spiritual alignment with chosen reality. Now, people are doing this every single day, and many folks don't know they're doing it. They're assuming a state of being, even if that state of being is fear and horror and dread and failure. They are assuming that state of being mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and aligning, watch this, their mind with something, with a spiritual power that's creating that reality, that's co-creating that reality of fear and dread and failure. Or the flip side of that is success, love, forgiveness, joy, peace, service, or closeness or oneness with God. Do you realize that people are separated from God not because of what a book says, but because they believe it? They are separated from God. So realize that when we use faith, and faith is assumptive. So, for example, for the person who wants to travel and see themselves on a beach, uh, you are the person sitting on the beach right now. I'm going to say it again. You are the person sitting on the beach. You are already sitting on the beach. Your mind has created the scene. Your emotions are confirming that it's reality. Now you're allowing yourself as a spiritual being to take these thoughts, okay, and manifest them. Take these thoughts as a powerful spiritual being by divine permission, because you are ruling and co-ruling your own world and reality. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I don't say, or I don't utilize this saying like folks do weekly. And people are saying that God is in control. When I say that God is in control, I don't say it with the same sentiment nor definition as others. The Spirit strictly spoke to me several years ago and said, if I was in control, there would be no death. If I was in control, there would be no rape or molestation. There's a scripture in Psalms that says, the heavens, even the heavens, are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. All of this stuff, it's crap that you see in this dimension, does not come from the creator, from the divine. It comes from us. I want you to catch that. It comes from us. If there's injustice, it's coming from us. The creator is not the ultimate, the almighty is not responsible for that. But we as creators are responsible for that. That's why the conditions have deteriorated in many countries and even in our country to such drastic measures or such a drastic extent. And it's because of the faulty thinking of people. It's because of the skewed, malign thinking of people. Please hear me clearly when I speak this. Okay? So, in metaphysics, assumption is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. So, when we use faith, and again, faith is assumptive. It does assume. It conquers, it assumes, it knows that whatever it is you desire, as we would say in faith, and when we use that faith, remember, faith is conviction. And when we have faith, we just assume it's done. So, for example, we're talking about a house. Faith assumes you live in the house. Faith will show you sitting in front of that 80 inch television with the clicker in your hand in your new house. That faith is assumptive. It is conviction. That is what creates the bridge from the faith that's in your imagination to three-dimensional material manifestation. In neuroscience, it's the mental model that guides perception, the mental model that guides or shapes or curates or develops perception. In psychology, it's the belief system that programs behavior. It's the belief system in psychology that programs behavior. And we've kind of discussed that. Our beliefs, family, is what's causing us to do what we do. Folks around here talking about the devil made me do it. No, you did it because you wanted to do it. Or you did it because maybe you were in a state of mind where you were weak and did not resist certain thoughts and certain temptations and certain desires that came to you. But you are the one that the action was carried out through. The action came from within you. Put up a quote from the philosopher C.S. Lewis. And he says, we are what we believe. We are what we believe we are. We are what we believe we are. So I've got to ask you a very personal question. Who do you believe you are? 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 Before we get to the mechanism of inner reality, I do want to ask you a question. Do you want to know who you believe you are? Do you want me to tell you how to discover who you believe you are? Anybody want me to tell you that, or do you already know? And if you already know, feel welcome to put the answer. In other words, how do we know who we really are or what we really are? Talk back to me. How do we know? I got one I do. Thank you. How do we know? How do we know who we really are? So I got one I do. So one person wants me to tell you, but there might be somebody here who already knows. It's not a complex answer. How do you know who you really are? And if you don't know that, I'm going to tell you because Monica said I could. I got one I do that I can do it. Anybody want to take a crack at it or give it a try? How do you know who you really are? How do you know who you are? How do you know that? In other words, how do you know uh, i- if you're a person of excellence, or how do you know if you are successful, or how do you know if you are loving, or how do you know if you are inappropriate? How do you know if you are in fear? Okay. And Chris says self-reflection. Okay. 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 That's great. That's good. Anybody else want to add an answer to that? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Okay. If you believe it to be. Okay. Okay. You all these answers are a part of the overall answer. She says by what your reality looks like. Okay, that's true. All of these are true answers. All of these are good answers. Anybody else? They're all good answers. So I'm going to give you the answer. The way you know or can discover who you really are is to pay attention to your thoughts. If we have up to 60,000 thoughts a day, which is a statistics that's been floating around for some time now, pay attention to your thoughts. So, for example, if this is a good example, if the thought comes to you several times throughout the day that I'm clumsy, you're walking through the house on the way to the bathroom. I'm just such a clumsy person. Clumsy. You get out the car at work and it comes back to you again. I got to be careful because I'm kind of clumsy. You start your work day, break time comes up, you're headed to the break room or wherever you're going, and you say to yourself, I got to watch my steps because I'm subject to fall. I'm a clumsy person. See, what you think is just a random thought, and remember, I've taught you that you can be an observer of your thoughts. But when you start defining yourself as I am, and there's something on the right side of that I am is what's definitive, it's what defines you. So if you continue to say I am, there you go. The counselor is on, the therapist is on. It's your dominant thoughts. It's basically that's what I'm saying. It's your dominant thoughts. It's the thoughts that you think the most. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. And then these thoughts can trigger an emotion. These thoughts can trigger an emotion. Okay. If you keep thinking you're insignificant, if you think you're insignificant and that thought comes to you several times throughout the course of a day or several times throughout the course of a week, that's who you believe you are. So it's like was said before, uh, starting with self-reflection, Okay. And in this self-reflection are dominant thoughts, the thoughts you think all the time. Like she said, within these dominant thoughts, you're having them because you believe it. You keep repeating it and rehearsing it in your mind because you believe it. Okay. Yes, this is true. I think, therefore I am. And as Hillary says, and I'm saying from these dominant thoughts that are circulating in your mind all the time, this is going to create a reality inwardly and outwardly. So for the person, so for the person, so for the person who thinks that they are clumsy, what do you think the outcome is going to be at some point in time? For the person who thinks they're clumsy, what do you think is going to happen in their lives? The person who thinks, say they only have 30,000 thoughts a day, and maybe if not 1,000 thoughts, maybe different images of them being clumsy comes to their mind several times throughout the day over the course of 7 days. What do you think is going to happen in their lives? Talk to me. I'm taking my time. What do you think is going to happen? Goodness, I'm almost out of time already. What do you think is going to happen in their lives? Okay, here's one answer. They're going to fall consistently. Yes, they will continue to be clumsy, trip, and fall. Absolutely. 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 Listen to this. Unless it is a, you know, brain situation that is messing with your equilibrium, that's a different story, because then that's something going on within the inner mechanisms of your brain, whether it's your ear or the cochlea, all these other things, or sometimes it's even the consequence of a stroke or whatever. And people, even vertigo, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who, as I said, think that they're clumsy. I've been clumsy all my life. If you think and believe that all your answers are true, they think that they're tripping and falling. They believe, excuse me, that they are tripping and falling because they are clumsy, but they don't understand that they have created an identity around that. They've created a belief in that. It is a part of their dominant thoughts, and they're going to manifest it in behavior. So you are telling yourself, I'm clumsy. So your muscles, your bones, hear me, everything from head to toe in you accepts we clumsy. So guess what? We got to be awkward. We got to trip over stuff. We got to miss steps. We gonna fall down. And then we laugh. I'm just so clumsy. I've been like this all my life. You manifest more of the clumsiness because you believe you're clumsy. Okay. Which leads me to another good point in terms of the mechanism of inner reality. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. It can't distinguish between it. And again, I've quoted from studies from athletes who train with their minds, and I'm seeing more and more of these studies are being reproduced or shared online. And what happens is when they did these studies, again, with athletes who imagined that they were working out versus the athletes who actually worked out physically, the muscle growth was about the same. The advancement physically, I'm using that word, was about the same way with people who practice instruments. They had some people who practice only mentally and not physically, and they had other people who practice physically. The improvement and the skill level was almost equal. They literally imagined themselves playing the keys, hitting the piano, blah, 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 playing songs. And the subconscious mind believed they were playing songs. The fingers, I've done this before. I've tried this. You can, even in working out, you can imagine yourself working out for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long, and you'll feel your muscles tensing. You can imagine, I've done it. I've imagined myself doing 20 push-ups. It's been a while, or 30 push-ups, and can feel like I did the push-ups physically. You know why? Because that subconscious doesn't know the difference. When it's vividly imagined, to the subconscious, it's real, which means it sends a message to the body that it's real. This has been proven in studies. And I'm glad to see these studies surfacing because, again, it's showing the power of us, of course, as spiritual beings who have a powerful mind. When an inner image and corresponding emotion are repeated, the subconscious accepts it as truth. So the person who thinks they're clumsy continues to, add emotion, which is, remember, fuel for reality creation, to confirm to the subconscious, we just clumsy. So if you apply this principle to different areas of your life, this is why I hate to be the sometimes the party pooper. But see, I take God serious, and I take these principles serious, and I take my life serious. And if you're around me, if you're in my inner circle, and there's a couple of y'all on here that are, I don't like to hear people say what they can't do, because I know if you keep saying what you can't do, you can't do it because you're manifesting more of I can't. What was that Henry Ford says? If you think you can, you probably can. If you think you can't, then you can't. Something like that. And it's true, because you add an emotion to that and you say it repetitiously for days, months, and years. And the thing that you say you can't do, you become the identity. You take on the identity. You are the identity of the person who can't do that particular thing. And many times when they first say it, I might not say anything. Then it just depends on where you are on your journey. But eventually, if you keep saying that to me, I'm going to say something to you about it, because I know that you are perpetuating more of that belief in your reality. You are creating more of the thing you can't do. And you will never progress beyond that if you continue to think that you can't do it. The subconscious is listening. And we are, again, the subconscious mind. That is us. That's not some other alien, some other being. That's us. We're programming ourselves to believe that we can't. The truth becomes an automatic directive, influencing perception, emotion, and behavior. In other words, we will reflexively, we will just automatically, like a knee-jerk reaction, when we get in certain situations. For example, the clumsy person can be doing real good. They could be riding and having a conversation. Say they're on a road trip, cackling, having fun, listening to music, enjoying themselves. The conversation is rich and fulfilling and all that kind of stuff. And when it's time to pull over to get out, the clumsy person's mood can change, because now they're in a situation where they feel like they are physically inept. The mood will change. Now, some people, it will change with more laughter to try and cover up what they perceive to be in themselves as a clumsy person. But it's automatically going to shift, because they don't want to look, if they haven't accepted it without taking themselves serious, then they're too serious, and they are concerned about other people watching them look clumsy. So now the mood is going to shift because it's situational. Now I'm in a situation where I am programmed to believe that once I get out of this car and start taking steps and start walking and start doing things, at some point in time, I'm going to have something happen to me because I'm not physically coordinated. Am I making any sense to anybody? Talk back to me. Talk back to me. So they would get in that position, move from the conversation of being joyous. We pull over to stop, and automatically their perception is going to shift. There's going to be an emotion attached to it, and it's going to impact their behavior. And they're going to be saying to themselves, be careful getting out this car. Be careful walking up these steps. I got to be careful going in this store because I'm sure enough clumsy. Then there are other people who might not, who take it seriously. Hear what I'm saying today. And they're going to be a little bit withdrawn, a little bit more self-conscious. about it. But you automatically go to that state. Automatically. You don't have to consciously drum it up. It is hardwired, family, into your programming. This is why when we have things in the realm of our thoughts, trauma in the realm of our thoughts, unresolved things in the realm of our thoughts, this is why we can do good until we get in that situation of the tender spot, and bam, that mindset just emerges. Those nerves that's used to us being in a certain state of mind and a certain state of consciousness just arises. This is why you have to pay attention to that. When you see your mood shift, when you see your mood change, okay, you've been doing good with faith all day long until something happens. Till something happens, watch this. That's something that can happen, can trigger a scarcity mindset. It can trigger fear in you. It can trigger past thoughts in you connected to past behavior, of course, that's connected to a certain emotion. And you got to be careful with that. It can literally ruin an hour, a day, a week, or whatever. It's automatic directive. It's your truth, and it automatically directs, the brain, the software, the body, all of that. So it takes us metacognizing. It takes us saying, okay, I just shifted here. Why did I shift? I just started feeling this way. I'm feeling this thing about this clumsiness now. Why? And then once you can confront it and address it, you can shift it, family, and change it. All right? Let me put some other things up here. I got a few more minutes with y'all tonight. Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Oh, trust me, it's happened to me several times. I'm a living witness. I don't need to bring up nobody else's life, mine. Some things I had to overcome. This is not fantasy, family. This is neurobiology. This is not opinion. This is neurobiology. The reticular activating system filters billions of sensory inputs and highlights data that confirms that you believe what you believe or expect. It confirms it. It confirms it. Okay. It's been programmed to filter out stuff that's not in alignment with its programming, with its beliefs. Are you hearing me? Okay. So I've seen this in counseling people. When people have certain challenges of esteem and self-worth and self-love and things like that, do you realize that they can even filter out compliments? They have the ability to filter out compliments. They filter out compliments because the reticular activating system is saying, well, I'm not a person worthy of compliments because I'm unpleasant, or I'm not good looking, or I'm this, or I'm that, or the other. And they can hear a compliment, but not receive it at heart. And then sometimes they can hear a compliment and be very skeptical about the person who's giving the compliment. And it's not really the issue is not really with the person who's sharing the compliment. It's the person who can't receive the compliment. But your reticular activating system is programmed to only accept things that are in alignment with your core beliefs. Wow, this is powerful. I just felt that when I said it. Check this out. I'll put this up for you. When you assume abundance, love, healing, or peace, your reticular activating system begins scanning reality for evidence of it. This is why it's important, to reprogram and recondition our mind, because that part of the brain will adjust. That part of the brain will adapt. That part of the brain will start looking for things that matches the new pattern that you're establishing. So, family, have you ever come across the car that you like, a kind of the model of a car that you like, and you start seeing more of those cars after that? Those kinds of cars after that? Has it ever happened to you before? For example, there's a particular model of a car that I discovered, I think it was last year sometime, looking for vehicles for my next transportation. I really didn't know what these cars were. I had, it's made by Hyundai, and I had never seen them before until I saw it on a car site. Okay. Why is it that now I see a bunch of those cars while I'm out in public? The cars have been there the whole time. That Hyundai model has been there the whole time. My reticular activating system was not programmed to acknowledge it. I was only acknowledging cars that I was familiar with, cars that I wanted within my awareness. This is why you can see a bunch of those same kinds of cars, even the same color that you saw that you've been looking at. Your reticular activating system is aware now of that model or car that you say you like, and now you're on the road and you're going to see a bunch of them. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I feel like singing like the heavenly choir. It is true. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is what I encourage people to do. If you want to change a reality in your life, no matter what it is, family, change the way you look at it. I know of many situations, family, including, and I've tried this, where people might have been hostile, adversarial, had a nasty attitude, or whatever the case was. There was a time I came strapped and equipped mentally, you know what I'm saying, to get people. I came strapped and equipped. Okay, when you climb with me today, we're going to fight fire with fire. Okay. But then I got to a point where I realized, as a conscious creator, I can change that by looking at them in the way I want them to treat me, looking at them in the way I want them to be in my reality. Did y'all catch that? Did you catch that? Monica says she called it. Did you catch that? I've had people treat me totally different when I decided that I was going to see them as a person who treated me a certain way. All of a sudden, it shifted. I've been in conversations on the phone with people, that I was serving. I've been, when I used to drive for Uber and Lyft years ago, riding with people who got in the car with an attitude. You could tell they were distant and withdrawn. They didn't even want to interact. And on the ride, I created a scenario where we connected, where they could trust me. Do you realize many times, I'm not going to say many times, 100% of the time, before that person got out the car, their attitude would have changed. And it doesn't mean some people end up talking to me the rest of the ride. Other people didn't say much, but before they got out, you could see their countenance has changed. Their voice softened and warmed up. And they were a lot more forthright, giving, and warm. Because I call it a manifestation portal, and I'll teach you about that. They visited me in my manifestation portal. We made the connection. Hear what I'm saying today. I didn't see them as approved. I didn't see them as somebody mean. I didn't see them as somebody who just wanted to be difficult. I saw them as somebody who loved being in my presence and knew that they could trust me. And before the ride was over, that's exactly how they acted. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it again. Type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Come on, type that in the comment section. I am powerful. I'm going to put Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote up and we're going to be done. Type that in the comment section. I am powerful. It is important that you always remember how powerful you really are. I am powerful. There you go. Own the power. You can literally change people's attitudes with your power just by changing the way you look at them, changing the way you perceive. You can change all kinds of stuff just by changing the way you look at a situation. Why? Because you are co-creating your reality. It's not anybody else co-creating this. It's you co-creating this. It's you creating this. Now, I'm going to get into this one day. Neville Goddard has a theory. He said, everybody is you pushed out. It's pretty deep. And basically what he's trying to say is that in your reality, the people that come into your space are all reflections of some aspect of you. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't have time to break it down today, but this is powerful. Okay, so just like in the double slit experiment with the observer effect, changing the way those subatomic particles acted by merely focusing on it with an intent of a predictive outcome, this is how we live every single day. What if you looked at your money different? What if you looked at those things that appear to be resistant and stubborn in a way that it complies with you and that it aligns with you and that it honors you and respects you? What if you change the way that you looked at it? If you change the way you look at it, family, I guarantee you the things that you're looking at are going to change. Got to run. Want to give you an opportunity to give if you desire to give tonight. And I thank those who've been sowing seeds into my life and into this ministry. And I don't worry about your return, because your return is going to come. You're participating in the law of reciprocity. And everything you give, I have prayed over it before you gave. And I know that you're going to get great results. All right, pray for me. I got a brief procedure in a couple of days to do some checkup on the body, but I'm good otherwise. Love you. Appreciate you taking out time in your schedules. All right. Remember what we discussed tonight and recognize that you're powerful enough merely with thought and with faith to change your world. Love you. I'm going to release you. Shalom, blessing. Shalom, shalom. Peace, wholeness, prosperity, nothing missing, nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. Thank you for being a part of this journey of awakening and transformation. Support the Light Through Revolution, Inc. by liking, sharing, and giving. Cash App $AG Green and $AG Green Enterprises. You can also give by Zelle. Anthony G. Green at hotmail.com is what you use. And Chime $Anthony/Green/336. If you haven't joined as a member of Patreon, now is a good time. We're a spiritual community that's evolving, transforming, and ascending. If you like what you have seen and heard, connect with us. It's time to vibe with your tribe. Also take time to visit theaggreen.com for the latest developments and explore divinespeciesshop.com for spiritual tools to elevate your life. Your love and support helps keep this mission alive.